The Pinetown community is calling for regular police patrols at the Dassenhoek High School. This follows an armed robbery at the school. 4 pupils were stabbed. They're recovering in hospital. 2 suspects have since been arrested. Police are searching for another person. Lethiwe Mdluli has been following the story. She joins us now from our Durban studio. I mean, Lethiwe, this is a shocking story. And today you managed to speak to one of the victims, also a parent of one of the victims. Just tell us what they're saying.
Well, Sally, it's a very, very tragic and sad story. Luckily, no one lost their lives during those tragic events yesterday, but 4 learners were stabbed, allegedly by former pupils of Dassenhoek High School. We went there today with the MEC of Education. He was visiting the school following that tragic event, but I managed to speak to one of the victims who was discharged from hospital this morning. He was there when the MEC was visiting his school, and I got a chance to speak to him about how he feels and what exactly happened. And he was telling me that he was standing outside his classroom and he saw these 3 men approach him carrying a gun and, of course, knives, and they wanted to take his cell phone from him. And, of course, he tried to fight them off, but he was overpowered by them, and they stabbed him 3 times in the face. And they then continued to stab other learners because they wanted to rob them as well. And in that process, the teachers were there, of course, and they wanted to rob the teachers as well, and they made off with quite a few valuables from the teachers. Now, this is a very, very shocking and scary event to take place at a high school, especially because that school has been attacked before. This is what we're getting from the community. Of course, the parents are saying that they're not sure if they want to send their children back to school, and they're very scared of what happened yesterday. They are saying that something or someone might have died because of this, because we do understand that the robbers were carrying guns at that point. Mind you, the person that I was speaking to, the victim, one of the victims, is a matriculant, and he's saying that he's been very disturbed. He doesn't know if he wants to go back to school or not, because he knows that the guys have gangs there in their community, and he's scared that they're going to come back and try and finish him off. These were his words. While I was speaking to the parent during the MEC's visit, she was saying that for now she doesn't know if she's going to send her child back to the school because of what happened, and she's hoping that they have more security and more police. While speaking to her, this is what she had to say.
Kubhlungu abantwana bayaqhaqhazela abazi noma kunesidingo yini sokuthi babuye beze esikoleni. Nathi siwumphakathi sidiniwe ukuthi ngasuka abantwana ade befunda la ekhaya bazolimaza abanye abantwana. Sikhona thina siwumphakathi waseDassenhoek sithini. Sengiyajabula ngoba abantu batholakele igebengu ezenze lento, kodwa engicelayo ukuthi nathi siwumphakathi waseDassenhoek asisinakekeleni isikole singadedeli othisha ukuthi babe bodwa kulento. Yebo, ngiyalizwa udaba lama security mangabe ukuthi abantwana baphenduka lezi zinto abayizona manje ama security ngeke azenze lutho. Nathi siwumphakathi waseDassenhoek kufanele sisukume ngoba abantwana bethu la abafunda kulesi sikole. Siyabacela namaphoyisa ukuthi angenelele kulolu daba. Kufanele ukuthi kube khona amaphoyisa azohleza azopatrola la kulesi sikole.
And you know, Lethiwe, this comes in the same week that our Education Minister has raised her concerns about security at schools, particularly after the murder last week of that Tembisa deputy principal. There are so many questions around how this happened. First of all, where was security? How is it that 3 people, that's my understanding, is that 3 people carried out this crime, managed to overpower so many? I suppose let's start with where was the security? Why didn't they do their job?
Well, Sally, interestingly enough, I actually had a chance to speak to 2 security guards at the school, and I was asking them where were they when this happened, and they were saying that they were actually guarding the main gate, and the 3 suspects actually entered through a fence. They broke down a fence, and then they entered through the back entrance at the school. But unfortunately, because the guards at the school are not armed, they were overpowered by the fact that the robbers were carrying guns, and because of that, they had to retrieve. And they are saying that because it's not the first time that this has happened, even they are afraid of what might happen to them as well.
Fair
and
enough.
of course, the MEC is also saying that they are very worried as to giving security guards arms, arming them, because something worse might happen if they are armed. And he's saying that for them as the department, their main objective is to have the school safe, and they want the community to protect their schools, because he is saying that in most cases the community know these suspects, they know these criminals, and he's calling for the community to get involved and not only call on the department to do something when something like this happens. He's saying that the government is trying all they can, and unfortunately they don't have enough funds to hire more security for schools, and they don't want to arm those security guards because more tragic things might take place at those schools, where you'll find criminals wanting those guns, and you'll find that in some cases the criminals will also be carrying guns, and a shootout might occur, and that is a school with pupils in it. So while speaking to him and while he was addressing teachers and learners at the school, this is what he had to say.
As government, you must know that we stand with you, and we'll continue with the battle to protect our schools, to protect you as educators, to protect our learners. But that battle, Mr. Council, must be won in our committee members. We must have rolling campaigns and mobilization of our committee members to take charge of these schools. Actually, schools should not be having security guards. Actually, if we're to be fair with our educators and learners, schools should not be having security guards, because communities must take charge in protecting their schools. I mean, the fact that there are two learners, former learners of the schools, who are still not apprehended as we speak, but they are known, committee members know them, they know where they reside, but they don't give information to police as to where are they. They're sort of protecting themselves. I mean, those criminals, if we were to put it blunt as that, because these former learners are known. And I will be raising this matter with the Minister of Police to say we have information, they are known, then the police must do also their work to make sure that they are apprehended within no space of time, so that it's not easy to do wrong things with impunity.
Well, it's all very well saying the community needs to come forward. The reality is keeping our community safe is very much also the mandate of the police. I want to ask you about these reports that when these three broke in and started just taking goods from the pupils, some of these pupils actually tried to fight them off. I mean, they were really incredibly daring, very brave. Is this true?
Yes, Sally. Actually, the pupil that I spoke to, one of the victims, he was telling me that he didn't want to give them his cell phone. So as a result, they tried to fight them off. The others as well, the three others who were injured during that robbery, they were also trying to fight them off because they didn't want to give them their goods, and especially because they knew them. It's people that they were in school with before. They were saying, no, I don't want to give you this. Why should I? And they fought them off, but unfortunately, because the robbers were armed, they were defeated in the process. But they were saying that they wished that as a community, people would have tried to do something, because they could hear the screams of the other learners, but unfortunately nothing happened at that time.
Right. Well, let's hope tomorrow, Lethiwe, bearing in mind that the school knows who these thieves are, we'll be able to report that they've been arrested. I certainly hope so. This is absolutely shocking. That's our reporter in Durban, Lethiwe Mdluli. Thanks so much for that update. Now,